Well, good morning. We are up before the sunrise this morning, and it looks like we're going to be able to see it. Unless we get some sort of fog or cloud roll in the next, 15 minutes. Yeah, it's coming up earlier and earlier. Now, I did come back to the model table last night, as you can see, and I cleaned all the flashing off those 30 little pieces. And, well, I guess you haven't seen the rollback, so you didn't hear me mention that there was 30 pieces. At least I think I mentioned it in the rollback. Okay, let's maybe just look at what happened last night, so we can see how we got to this place, and then I'm just going to go ahead and quickly assemble the rest of these. I'm going to do it much the same way as this one. And I don't know if you can see it now, but the barrel has a little bit of a bend in it still. But, yeah, I think maybe I can fix that with the heat gun. At least I'm going to try. Okay, I came back to the model table this evening, and I nipped off the remaining parts from the sprue. This is our barrel that we repaired. I used the heat gun at about 240 degrees to soften the plastic. Then I bent it to what I thought was straight. It's better. It's not perfect, but at arm's length, nobody's going to know. And I'm sure that once it's painted, this whole repair area is going to be covered. And unless a person really looks very closely, we're not going to see that. I went through the book, and I did find quite a few drawings of this particular gun. Some of them good, some of them not so good. We will go through them. I'll just find the same drawing in the computer so that we can see them a little sharper than just looking in the book itself. And the plan is, right now, I want to see if I can get one of these together, or this one together. It's the only one I can get together. The others, I have to clean up the flashing off the parts. Now, this part here, where there's a hinge, well, our friend Dave has informed me that this part is called not a thingy, it's called a trunnion. I think I got that right, eh, Dave? Trunnion. And what I'm trying to do is get this trunnion part together. Now, I'd heard the word trunnion before, but someone had said to me, "What's a trunnion?" Well, I don't know if I'd have got it. I almost got this, though. Oh, let's try it again here. Try and get the same grip on it that I had before. Whoops, I don't want it to ping out of the tweezer. If I squeeze too hard, it will. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, that one's in place. I just have to twist it around so it sort of finds the hole there. It's not going in. The one on this side isn't going in. Oh, there, it's in. I was just trying it too high. Okay. Now, oh no, it's not in. What's wrong there? You know what? I'm gonna have to do this off camera and see what the problem is. Okay, I found out what the problem was, and that is that the holes that the shafts go into on each end were just slightly too small. Just slightly. It would almost fit, and you'd think you had it, and it would feel like you had it, but then as soon as you'd move it, it would pop out. So what I did was I got it just right, and I squeezed it together on the sides, and then I moved this up and down to sort of wear it into place, and we basically have it. Now, it can quite easily come out again. So I'm thinking that in all the drawings that I saw, the gun was in a more or less horizontal position. I can't see any place on the model where if we were to glue this barrel in horizontally, like this, that it would not fit on the deck later. And I suppose if there was one, or I guess there would be two because these are like matching pairs, I might be able to just sort of break it loose and twist it up. You wouldn't want it. It wouldn't need to go down, but it might need to go up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it horizontal, basically horizontal, and then we'll put a little tiny bit of extra thin on the bearing there, part of the trunnion, and glue it into place. So I think we could probably just do that right now, just like that. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to put any more on. And because if I put any more on, you know what the moron is, right? Okay. I'll just give that a little bit of time. Okay, now Mark, Aussie Frenchman Mark, you're going to be proud of me because I'm letting gravity be my friend again. Well, you'd be even more proud if I could get it to stay on there. Maybe I don't have it 100% straight. Yeah, I think the peg is a lot larger, or rather the hole is a lot larger than the peg. So I guess what we're going to have to do is I'm going to have to hold it for a moment until it starts to set, and then let go. Now, speaking of Mark, he sent a comment, and a couple of them actually, and he's talked about the serious flooding they have in his area. So, yeah, we're thinking of you, Mark. Thoughts are cheap, right? Okay, now, is that going to stay there? I kind of think it will. Just try and hold it for a moment. All right. Now, just let me look at it all around. Okay, it's got to go towards you just a little bit here. Now, what about the other axis? No, it looks not too bad. Check the monitor. That looks pretty good. I think if it dries like that, it'll be all right. Yeah. Okay, I'll do that on the other 5 because that worked out really well. Okay, I'm probably going to spend the rest of the evening taking the flashing off of these pieces. There's 30 pieces there. Each one of these guns, I believe, has 6 pieces, and there's 5 more to go, so 30 pieces. Anyway, I was kind of disappointed in the look of episode 1100 that I had done entirely in Adobe Premiere Pro. It had a hazy fuzziness to it. It just did not look sharp. I don't know what I did wrong. It just didn't look right. I'm going to try it again. We'll see how it goes. I know when I did those 8K episodes, they looked great. So at least that's what I thought. I haven't heard any comments yet to that effect, but I can imagine that somebody's going to mention it. I mean, if I noticed it, so will everybody else. Anyway, enough about that. I'm just going to continue on here, I will go back to my computer, and before this episode is out, we will look at some of the actual drawings that Carlo did. Carlo Sestra, or Kestra maybe? Sestra? Cestra. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Carlo. Anyway, and he did this one. Stefan Drabinsky did the other one on the hood, but they're all put out by the same publisher. Anyway, starting to get into detail that nobody cares about. Now, this detail came out pretty good. I think that our broken barrel is very acceptable. I'm happy with that. I'm sorry I broke it, but I'm happy that I got to repair it. For a while there, I was just going to have the short barrel version on one of the guns, but I'm glad I went to the effort of fixing it. And it was kind of fun, wasn't it? At least I thought it was. Anyway, I'm just going to carry on here this evening, and I'll probably be able to... I usually start getting really tired around 8:30. Sometimes earlier. Sometimes I fall asleep when I'm at the computer doing the final edit. That could be serious. Anyway, we'll see you in the morning. Okay, this is the first time I've done it this way. And the reason I'm trying this is because, I can point to something. I can say, and here is our gun. And you can tell it's much more heavy duty. And remember wondering exactly what that round thing was they were putting on the front there yesterday, I guess it was? Well, it looks like it's an electric motor of some kind. Let's go to the next one. Here it is again, the electric motor. And I'm going to show you a picture here that's kind of puzzling. It has to do with this gear right here that runs the rack. This is a rack and pinion. This would be the pinion, but in the next picture, I think it's the next one. No, it's not. This shows two of those guns side by side, and the guns we made a couple of days ago. Another good drawing of it. All right, here. This is the one I was looking at a moment ago. You look at this, and you see the pinion here. But what drives the pinion? There's no, unless this is supposed to be a shaft going into it or something. I don't know. Because clearly this is supposed to drive this. But it just looks like it's more like a sort of an idler or bearing or something that would maybe just hold the weight of it. You know what? Maybe that's what it is. But then why would it be geared? It wouldn't have to be geared. Oh, who knows? Anyway. All right. From the back. Looking in the, I guess this would be the breech area. Now, here's the 120 millimeter and the 20 millimeter side by side. And that's it for our pictures of the 120 millimeter. Yeah, I hope this presentation worked out a little bit better than I sometimes do it. And they're nice and clear. The camera lightened the photos automatically. I didn't Photoshop these. They're a lot better than the way they appear in the book. At least I think they are. Now this is the last one. If you remember, we found that they, well, now it makes a liar out of me. I was just going to say it won't stand up in there all by itself. But this one is so perfectly machined, you might say, that it is. But I guess the point that I had wanted to make is, now let's hold this tight enough so we don't drop it. I'm using the quick setting instead of the extra thin. Well, this is the extra thin, but it's the extra thin quick setting, which means it's even thinner. and it actually within about 10 seconds I could let go, and the barrel would not. Let me just look over here. Is it straight all the way around? Oh yeah, it looks pretty good. And I would say in about 2 minutes that's going to be pretty strong. Not brittle strong, but pretty strong. Okay, got all the guns put together now. And this is the one that we did the repair on the barrel. And a few moments ago I was setting up to, remember I said I was going to heat the end of the barrel and bend it straight, and I'm looking at it, and for a moment I couldn't see which way it was crooked. But if you look at it straight on, you can see that the barrel is kind of bent this way. So my plan is I'm going to put the macro lens on, have it all set up, and then I'm going to heat the barrel over the heat gun here at about 240 degrees. That will be hot enough to make it pliable, but it shouldn't slump. And then if I can quickly then bring it back down here, and then we'll just sort of push the barrel just very slightly the way I think it's supposed to go. Now, quite often when I try something like this, I end up making it worse. Anyway, just let me get the macro lens on. We'll get set up and see what happens. Well, here we go. Now, I remember when my kids used to watch the Saturday morning cartoons, there was a TV show, and one of the characters, or some of the characters, I think they were called snorks. And the end of their noses kind of, if I remember right, they kind of turned down. Now, I had said that this probably wouldn't slump, but it did. Just a little bit, right on the very end there. I guess maybe where it was really thin and the heat could get into the hole in the barrel and so on. I'm just guessing, I don't know. But once again, from arm's length, we're not going to notice that. Who's going to be sticking on the macro lens to look at the end of the barrel, right? Well, that snork-nosed muzzle was kind of bothering me, so I tried to straighten it, but I don't think I did. I think I might have made it worse. I know that now I've kind of lost the roundness of the hole that the shell comes out of. Now a little later I got curious and I thought, did I get that right? Well, it wasn't snorks, although the snorks did have an unusual nose. But this is the cartoon character I was actually thinking of. Guess my memory's not as good as I thought. Okay, I think we're done here. I think we're done. Okay. Now, I just gave this step 2 a quick check over. We do have everything, and unless I added it up wrong, I believe there were 47 separate little pieces that we had to make. So we are now done step 2, and we're on step 3, the aircraft. Yeah, I'll just recompose here. Okay, it appears that we don't have any photo etch until we get right down here to the end, and we have to put the cross bracing on that goes on the wings, and I can see where they might want that to look a little bit more realistic. They're probably flat. I haven't seen these on the fret yet, so I'm not sure. But I know in real life these things in all likelihood would have been like a real strong flat wire, high tension aerodynamic wire, and I don't think it would have been round. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that they used for bracing when you would put floats on an ordinary small aircraft. I actually had a little experience with that sort of thing. And I know a lot of you guys that have been watching me for a while have heard me say this, and maybe you don't want to hear it, but I do actually have my pilot's license. It's not valid anymore because I can't pass the medical, but I actually did get it. And yeah, I could fly something small like that. And this looks a lot like, and I think I may have mentioned it when we first got the Rodney, it looks a lot like an aircraft that my dad had many years ago. Until you put the top wing on, then it doesn't look like it anymore. But it was called a CB, and I can still remember seeing that. I was just a little kid then. Yeah, those were the years. A lot of interesting stuff has happened in my life. You know, I've been lucky in a way. I've been able to experience a lot of stuff that a lot of people haven't. And yeah, and then on the other hand, I've experienced stuff that maybe would have been better if I didn't. Anyway, let's see if we can find our P sprue. And it should be easy to spot, right? Okay, each sprue has enough parts for one complete plane. There's 2 sprues like this. I was thinking that there's probably little danger of getting the parts mixed up. Most of them are symmetrical. However, I was noticing down here, it is, you know, at first glance you would think the 7s and 8s are the same, but they're not. The 7s are shorter than the 8s. Now the 17s here, they're all the same. These ones here are mirror image of each other, and they are 11 and 12. It might be a good idea to keep them separate, but a lot of these other parts, I don't think it matters. Like I don't think we'll make a mistake and get the upper and lower wing mixed up. Yeah, and then the stabilizer for the back. I suppose a person could put them on wrong, so maybe we should keep them separate, although I don't think I would actually do that. Looks like there's a little trim tab on this one. I don't have my strong glasses on. Is there a trim tab on that one as well? I think maybe there is. Anyway, we'll keep them separate. But you know, I think we're probably gonna call it a day here. I'm going to be doing this entire episode in Adobe Premiere Pro as well. If you notice anything unusually bad or good about it in the comments, I'd sure appreciate knowing. I only see it on my monitor, but it could be that on other people's devices it's better or worse or whatever. It's good for me to know. I don't know if it's going to make any difference to the way I will be working. I think I will eventually be doing everything 100% in Premiere Pro. It's called Premiere Pro CC, and the CC I found out stands for Creative Cloud. And I'd always been kind of leery about these cloud-based programs. I think that most of the program is in my computer, but you have to be on the internet in order to use it. I think that there's the possibility if my internet went down, the program wouldn't work. Just for the fun of it, maybe I should unplug the Ethernet wire and see if if it still goes on. That'd be kind of interesting. Or it could be that it will run for just so many days and then it'll shut down. There's undoubtedly some sort of a clock running in it, because they're taking my money. They already got just under $30 off me, and that was for for this month, or 30 days or something like that. Anyway, it works out to about just under $1 a day. It's a very good program. I'm getting more and more used to it. I'm starting to kind of like it. I think that if I'd been using it for like I think I must have been using a Cyberlink's program, Power Director, for I'm guessing about 10 years, because it's the version I've got now is the third version. I think I started out with 9 and then I went to 11 and now I've got 15. Now they're out with 20 already, but I was hoping that 20 would render 8K video, but it won't. Anyway, I'm starting to get into a bunch of techno babble, and I'm probably boring you to death here. So 1:35, I'm going to call her quits. Thanks for watching, everybody, and all doing well. We'll be seeing you tomorrow.